I will be presenting my work on the winter adaptation of Tetragonula iridipennis under Punjab conditions, because there the winters they are very severe if we consider it in terms of its comparison to the tropical conditions. So here we know that the Apis mellifera or Sirana, these Apis bees, they are quite effective in maintaining the temperature within the colony, and that's why they are active most of the year, even in the temperate conditions. And but if we look at this Tetragonula being a tropical bee, in Punjab conditions temperature is quite low, and because of that we planned this study on the base on having that the bees they will not be affected with these extreme conditions. So objective was to determine the ability of these these Tetragonula iridipennis colonies to maintain temperature and humidity during these winter conditions in the Punjab, and to determine the year-round foraging dynamics of Tetragonula because of the variations in the floral availability and temperature conditions. This shows the position of this that the at Ludhiana mean maximum temperature is 38, that occurs during May, and the lowest mean 18 during January. Whereas if we look at the lowest temperature, that's around 5.6 minimum temperature. That's average temperature for the month, and sometimes even it goes below 5 degrees Celsius. Whereas during summer season, temperature sometimes reaches even 44 or 45. So both the extreme conditions they are presented to the bees in this situation. So these bees they were reared in Kerala type beehive. We got these dimensions from our Crip center in Kerala, and these colonies they were reared, they were shifted into these, and the proper packing of these colonies was done, because without packaging these bees they were not able to survive in these hives with 1.5 centimeter thickness wall. For monitoring the temperature and relative humidity, this BCAN 2 a data logger that was used for recording temperature and humidity, and this was inserted inside the colony by making a hole in the rear side of the hive, and one of the sensor was placed outside the hive to record the ambient temperature conditions, and that was not exposed to sun, so that the effect of direct sunlight is avoided. And the foraging activity at fortnightly interval was recorded throughout the year. So this table shows the activity initiation and cessation. We can see a gradual shift in the initiation of activity. We started the experiment in June. After equalizing in May 2023, bees they initiated activity at 5:26 in the morning, and as the year progressed, the start delayed, and during the first fortnight of December, bees they could start activity only around the noon hours at 12:19, and similar shift in the cessation of activity time was also recorded. So the total activity duration was very much reduced. However, major difference from the tropical part is in this part. From second week of December to the second week of February, these colonies they closed their entrances, and no bee ever came out of the colony to forage. So they tried to be there within the colony. So this was totally different behavior which we have seen in this case. If we look at these bars, they shows the activity duration of these bees. So it declined, and this period of no activity shows that the mean maximum temperature was only 11.7 and the mean minimum was only 6.1. So this was very much correlated to the activity period. So, temperature difference you can see, then the activity for the 24 continuous hours was recorded at hourly interval, the data was recorded, and this was done throughout the winter seasons from January to mid-February. And it was seen that from the inside, bees, they were maintaining 2 to 3 degree more temperature than the outside. However, as the sun was out, bees, they were trying to maintain, but outside temperature rose at a quicker pace. So, this graph will give a better picture of this data. The upper one is regarding the temperature and lower one is regarding the relative humidity. You can see relative humidity, blue line shows the relative humidity within the hive, which is quite stable, whereas the red line shows slight dip in the relative humidity during the noon hours. Whereas the temperature inside the hive and the ambient temperature conditions, they were running very close to each other, and the shift in the inside temperature was very gradual. And this period of the night time, we can see the bees inside, they were able to maintain around 3 to 4 degree more temperature than the outside, when the outside conditions, they were very drastic. So, outside temperature was only 20 during the daytime, whereas at night time it reached 8 to 9 degrees Celsius. And this was totally different from the spring season, when the average inside temperature was around 30 degrees Celsius. So, this is a huge shift in the conditions. So, on this basis we can conclude that these Tetragonula iridipennis colonies, they tried to maintain relatively stable relative humidity inside despite the fluctuations outside. Although they were weak in thermoregulation, they were not able to maintain the temperature around 25 or 30 degree, but still they were able to maintain slightly higher internal temperature around 3 to 4 degree compared to the outer conditions. And the colony foraging activity during winter months for the 4 fortnights, it was nil. What need to be done further is development of strategies for better thermoregulation, so that we can use this species in that region of Punjab, Haryana area also during the winter conditions. So, we had been successful for conserving and then rearing these bees in such hives, but still we are working. We still actually are the students in this Tetragonula. We started very late for this species. Thank you.
Did you see any behavioral change in the bees inside the hives? When the temperature was low,
yes, sir,
whether there was any kind of congregation in one place? Or?
Sir, we took risks with 1 or 2 colonies, because outside temperature conditions, they were very low. Yeah. And we lost 1 or 2 colonies in that process also, because once they were exposed to outside temperature, it was almost impossible for them to again maintain the temperature. But what difference we could found was, the colonies during the winter and the spring, they were having different structures inside. Involucrum structure, they were very much developed during the winter season. They were actually trying to defend their brood from the external temperature conditions. So, that was the one major difference in the nest architecture. And with respect to behavior, during the second part of, during the first week of December, they were a bit active, but many bees, they were coming to the entrance, just wandering there, but they were not foraging at all, just as if they are coming for just having some idea of the temperature, but they were not foraging. But from second fortnight onwards, there was no activity at the entrance also. They were surviving on the basis of the food reserves they were having, sir. And this year, sir, we found another very peculiar observation this time. This time, during January, temperature rose abnormally. And those bees which normally were starting activity for the last 4 years, we had been observing them, they were starting their activity in the second fortnight of February. This time they started in the end of January because of abnormal higher temperature during that condition.
Stingless bees are not suitable for your region unless they are packed.
Sir, in nature they are surviving.
Because
because they are making nests in the tree cavities, which are having very thick walls. So the effect of outside temperature within that cavity will be very less. So that's why the same might be the scenario for those bees which are hiving within the cavities inside the walls also.
So they forgo foraging for a long time.
Yeah, for 4 continuous fortnights there was no foraging, sir.
But they have enough hoarding inside.
But they survived, and during the second week of second fortnight of February, they resumed activity.
Yeah, that is one of the best character of the stingless bees. Even without external supply, they can survive for 3 months.
Yes, they survived, sir. But we intended to look inside the colony, what's happening there, how good they are in maintaining the temperature in such a low condition. During winter, there generally the minimum temperature goes to 4 or 5 degree, and that's why we installed these data loggers. We used these sensors for recording these temperature and humidity conditions.
ಹಾಯ್, ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿಕಟ್ಟೆ ಚಂದ್ರಮೋಹನ್. ಸಮಸ್ತ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯತಾಪೂರ್ವಕ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಕೃಷಿಯೇತರ ವಿಷಯಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲೆ, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಮುಂತಾದ ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷ್ಯಚಿತ್ರಗಳ ಬಿತ್ತರಿಸುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಯಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಂಬಲವಾಗಿ ನಿಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹದಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಕರೆದು ತಂದಿದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಸದಾ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರಲಿ. ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಏನೆಂದರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಹಿನಿಯ ತಂಡ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಕೃಷಿ ಸಮುದಾಯವನ್ನು ತಲುಪಲು ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬೆಂಬಲದ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರುವುದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಎಂಬ ಬಟನ್ನನ್ನು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಸೇರ್ಪಡೆ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ತಮಗೆ ಇಚ್ಛಿಸಿದ ಸದಸ್ಯತ್ವ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಶಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಯಕಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಬಲ ನೀಡಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲವಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಬಟನ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. ಉಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬಹುದು. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸದಾ ಚಿರಋಣಿಗಳಾಗಿರುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.